So the internet's a crazy place. You can hire people to do pretty much anything. You can pay people for feet pictures, apparently. You can hire hitmen, and you can even hire people to redecorate your house virtually. Today, we're just focusing on that family-friendly third option because I don't think YouTube would like me making videos on the other two. Throughout my tiny house, there are certain areas that I just don't really like. They either feel a bit unfinished or bare or just not that practical. To help me fix this problem, in this video I'm going to be hiring a bunch of different interior designers and architects from Fiverr, who are today's sponsor, and we're going to see how different price points compare. For example, does an interior designer who charges $100 for their services make a much better job than someone who just charges $10? So together we'll find out. My tiny house is made up of 4 parts: the hallway, the bedroom, the bathroom, and the living/kitchen area. First of all, we have the hallway. I personally think the hallway is fine as it is. We've got the coat rack so that it's functional, and a little collage showing what the building looked like before I renovated it. Well, paid other people to renovate it for me. I don't really think I need to add anything more to this area, but if you disagree with that, then just leave a comment with your address and we can arrange a cage fight. Moving into the bedroom, this is the area that I'm least happy with. It just feels very bare because there's a lot of empty space, and I think that's accentuated by how long and narrow the room is. In a weird way, it kind of reminds me of that terrifying scene from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where they're in the boat in the tunnel. I've been a little bit reluctant to add more stuff to this room because I don't want to add more things to the side at the risk of accidentally making the room kind of close in even more. So to help me find out a solution for this, I decided to hire Asma, an interior designer from Pakistan, and for $10 she said she would create an elegant interior design mood board. I gave Asma the room measurements plus a few photos, and the next day she got back to me with a little mood board filled with ideas on how to finish the room. This included accessories for the window, floating shelves above the radiator, and a rug that runs under the bed. I was quite pleased with most of her ideas, but I wasn't too excited about the big mushroom thing in front of the mirror. I fucking hate mushrooms. As you would expect, for just $10, the mood board is quite basic, so I decided to hire another seller called Green Palette, and they offer something called virtual staging. This is basically where they take a photo that you have of your room, and then they will just virtually add in extra pieces of furniture and decor so that it looks really realistic and you can just see what different items look like without actually having to buy them and try them yourself. I still want to make use of Asma's mood board, so I sent this to Green Palette along with 4 photos. This cost me $15 per photo, so $60 in total, and this is what they came back with. I'm honestly quite blown away by how good the results were. They did everything Asma suggested and even included intricate little details like the shadow on the wall from the shelves and on the floor from the rug. And if you zoom in on the mirror, they actually put in the reflection of the rug and the mushroom, which I thought was some impressive attention to detail. These photos were really helpful in letting me see that a rug would actually be a really good addition to this room, and that the shelves are also a really good idea and they don't suffocate the room like I kind of feared they would. As I suspected, the mushroom is not my cup of tea, so I went back to Green Palette and asked them to do a couple of revisions. I asked them to put in a more neutral rug, take the mushroom away, and I also asked if they could add a large plant to see if that would liven up the room a little bit. I think it looks much better without the mushroom, and I also feel like the plant is actually a nice addition which does bring more life. I'm not very sure about the rug as it might be a little dull, but let me know what you think. Rug number 1 or rug number 2? Moving into the bathroom, I'm pretty happy with it the way it is, but I wanted to know if another big plant would work here. To see what this would look like, I hired Green Palette again to add in a palm. So what do you think? Plant, no plant, or a different type of plant? No cage fights on this one, unless you want one. Coming upstairs, this is another area where I haven't been very brave with my decor, and because of that have several spots that feel just a bit unfinished. As some of you already know, I'm planning on putting this place on Airbnb for a little bit, and I'm just not very sure if the current layout and the current choices that I've made are that suitable for a wide range of guests. For example, I don't know if guests would want a desk here, if the side table at the kitchen is good enough for eating at, or if I should change the pink table to something which would suit more people's taste. To figure out what I should do with this space, I hired another interior designer, but this time I hired someone that cost way more than the $10 that I paid for the bedroom design. For $105, I hired Natalie, who's an architecture student from Germany, to create a unique interior design plan. A few days later, after hiring Natalie and sending her some of my ideas and room sizes, she got back to me with 3 different mood boards, 3 different layout options, and a shopping list containing the links for all of the products that she'd suggested. She also did some sketches and wrote up some explanations which helped visualize and explain her ideas. For example, in this sketch, Natalie added a larger rug and explained how this can make the room feel more structured and cozy. In her next sketch, she added a table next to the sofa and suggested that it could be a more practical arrangement as it gives more space for dining, plus the option of watching TV while you eat. She also suggested swapping the desk for a little reading nook. Above the chair, she suggested adding wall shelves and putting books here about tiny houses and the local area, which I thought was quite a nice touch. She also highlighted that due to the skylight, this area is ideally lit for reading during the day. In my opinion, this was well worth the $105 because not only did she sort of just give me ideas of what would look good, she also explained why it would look good or why it would be much more functional. Just like with the bedroom, I wanted to see a more realistic example of what these ideas would actually look like, so I hired Max, an architect from Ukraine, for $110 to make a 3D realistic render using Natalie's ideas. It was quite funny because after I hired Max, he actually sent me a message saying that he'd seen my YouTube videos and he'd seen this house on YouTube already. I told him that this order was actually for another video, the video that you're watching right now, and that hopefully it would get him more clients. The next day, Max got back to me with his renders and I was honestly so impressed with the work he'd done. His attention to detail was crazy. For example, he replicated my TV unit and stair railings almost perfectly, which I just didn't expect. As per Natalie's recommendations, Max added pictures above the stairs. Natalie suggested doing this because she felt this wall appeared too big and too white, which I actually agree with. If I didn't want to go with putting a table in the middle of the room, Natalie suggested adding more plants to give the space more life, which was another good idea. I'm actually delighted with everything that Max and Natalie did with the upstairs, and the only thing I asked Max to change was tidying up and changing the blanket and moving the sofa slightly to the left so that it wasn't touching the radiator. Overall, I'm really happy with all of the ideas and designs that these designers came up with, so I'm interested to hear what ones you liked the best or hated the most. If you want to hire any of the designers that I used in this video, I'll be dropping all of their links down below in the video description, and if you use code GEORGE10 you'll get 10% off your order. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate you taking 2 seconds to leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you all in the next one.